I'm just amazed that we have just given up on any restrictions on gambling now. I mean, when I was a kid, Pete Rose was not allowed to go into the Hall of Fame because he had once placed a bet on his own team. He wasn't even doing anything corrupt, but he bet on his own team would win. He was kept out of the Hall of Fame. Now you can't watch a sporting event without having gambling ads shoved in your face. Like, that's an example of something that should just not be the case. That is terrible for anyone who's trying to quit gambling. It's terrible. A lot of young men particularly, but not just young men, are just ruining themselves economically over sports gambling. And we don't need this. We can do without it.
The gambling thing's a real concern. We had a guest on this podcast who's a self-admitted gambling addict, and a friend of mine who treats gambling addicts said it's among the worst of the addictions because they live with the reality. It's true that the next time really could change it all. Mm-hmm. And he said eventually they get addicted to the shame of losing. They just get winning becomes a thing of the distant past. I mean, this sounds crazy to the rest of us, but
it's fascinating.
It's fascinating and disturbing. And gambling addicts will say that every addiction is gambling.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. There's a tremendous book, Addiction by Design, and I'm afraid I'm going to mispronounce the name of the person who wrote it. I think it's Schull, but I'm not sure. But I know the title, Addiction by Design, about gambling. And she profiles people who play video poker, many of whom work in the casino. They basically get paid, and then they go pay the casino back by giving it away. But some of them will take a toothpick and bend it and force the bet button down, and they won't even touch it. They'll just sit there and watch in kind of a dissociative state as it just runs and runs and runs until their money is gone. That's like, it's really like zombification, of this stuff. And that tech has been perfected to be addicted. I do go to Las Vegas like once every couple of years. I just find, not for gambling, but I just enjoy the sort of pageantry and the food and all that. It's very hard to see dealers at tables anymore because dealers don't give the perfect timing of reinforcement that machines can do. And, they don't, you have to wait, for your reward and all that kind of thing. And you wait till you find out, and there's a social component. Well, that all slows down the process. Whereas a machine can give you exact timing between your press the button and then you get your reward or your win or your loss. And it can just go infinitely 24 hours a day, unlike a dealer never gets tired. And so all the casinos like chopped up dealers' tables, and now you're just playing with a machine.
Incredible. I don't want to spill off into too many anecdotes on my side, but I will share something that was shared by a previous guest on the podcast you may find interesting. Michael Easter is at a university out in Las Vegas, and he got access to one of these. He wrote The Comfort Crisis, about getting outdoors, getting away from things, and basically carrying weight on your back and walking as a therapy of sorts, an important one to do regularly. But he got access to one of these research casinos. And it turns out that slot machines used to be a small fraction of the income of casinos.
That's right.
Now it's 80% or more.
Yep.
And he said that came about because a father who worked for the casino industry was at home watching his kids play video games. And he realized that the kids weren't playing to win. They were playing for the novelty of what was on the next screen. And the kids didn't realize this, but it became clear to him. So now, and I think this will help people. This is why I'm taking the time to share this once again. Now, if you play a slot machine, you think you're trying to win. Hear the ching, 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 and the bells go off and you won. You think that's the dopamine reward. But they've figured out that unlike the old rotor machines where you have some cherries and bells and stuff, in the electronic landscape, you could have an infinite amount of novelty through novel combinations. So now they figured out that people will play to win 50 cents on the dollar. So they lost 50 cents, right? And they know that rationally, or they could know that rationally. But they'll continue to play until it's all gone, as long as you give them novelty. So people aren't even really playing for the money anymore. They think they are. They're actually just being stimulated with enough novel combinations that their bank account gets drained, the house takes it all.
Yeah.
When I heard that, it changed my view of gambling, because I always thought it was about winning money and leaving. It's actually more about playing, and it's more about the novelty that's introduced in each quote-unquote hand or spin. And I think knowing that carries over certainly to sports, and the excitement that you're feeling about the potential that you could win, but that it's a novel combination of things, might prevent, hopefully, somebody from becoming a gambling addict, or might help people realize that what they're addicted to, if not already shame, might actually just be the novelty. And that's why they're losing all their money.
Yeah, there's an industry term for that. It's LDWs, losses disguised as wins. So, you put in $1 and you get 100 credits. And then you pull the thing, and it does its thing, and then it goes like, you've matched this way, you've won 10, and it goes off, and you've matched that way, 20. Oh my God, I've won again, 40. I won 40, 20, and 10 with all these exciting things. I just lost, 30% of what I put in, but it feels like a win. And they realized, as you say, people will keep playing even while objectively they're just pouring money down a sewer.
So glad I'm not addicted to gambling, but I could see how I could be. Even though I would like to say I couldn't be, I could see how I could be, because the brain is just so prone to these kinds of things. We all have these circuits.
Absolutely. And it's interesting too, casinos are one of the few places where you can still smoke, indoors, and you get free drinks. And so it's really like absolute dense pack of addictions, and a huge number of people, problem gamers, are problem drinkers, and also are addicted to cigarettes. And so when I go to Las Vegas, it's almost like an anthropology experience for me. I just look at all this and like, wow. And there was a story in Scholl's book, which I just found amazing, with a bunch of people playing, and somebody had a heart attack at one of the machines, fell over on the floor in a group of them, and none of them even reacted. They just kept playing as this person died.
What a metaphor for society.